Hey everyone, it's Lauren back and we're going to get straight into the process. So I'm just putting some double-sided tape down on some blank cardstock and I'm just putting the washi strips straight over the double-sided tape just so they can securely stick to the cardstock. Now my idea for this layout is to use all the washi because they go together so nicely, but also I wanted to glue them here on this cardstock so that they were strong light pattern paper and that the pattern was bold so you can see the pattern. My idea was to cut them up into strips like they are with the washi shape, but also then to be able to manipulate them and put them onto a layout in a vertical design, having them go across in all different lengths and thickness and whatnot. So I used my trimmer to cut out the thick ones. They were quite easy as long as they were lined up. And then I cut my scissors to cut the smaller washi strips up because they were so tiny. I couldn't be bothered fiddling with my trimmer to do so. But here they are all cut up and then they are sorted. I've got 2 of each washi tape and then I'm going to go straight on to the layout. So I've got my beautiful pink cardstock here. So I've cut it down to a 9x12 and I'm going to layer it behind with the white on top. This means that the washi can stand out on the white cardstock base, but then have a border so that it is contained into the layout rather than the washi just being floating in the middle of all this white space. So I'm going to cut down the cardstock so that it is smaller and I can fit it onto that background piece. And of course, first fight with my trimmer because why not? So usually I cut down 1 inch from the top and then 1 inch from the side, and that way it's half an inch on either edge. That way it gives a nice border of 1/2 inch. And then I just thought it needed something else, and seeing there's black in the washi, I thought I would cut some black cardstock and have a second match in between the white cardstock and the pink. And stupidly, I cut it down to 10.5 inches, and that's not high enough. So luckily I fiddled with it, and the strip that I cut off, I was able to line it up underneath it and glue it together, Frankenstein that piece together, so you can't even tell that I stupidly forgot to think about measurements. So I'm just going to get in. I was trying to rip the washi, but now it's stuck to the cardstock. You can't really rip it, but that's okay. That's what scissors are for. And I just started cutting it all down, and then I just worked on gluing it down. So again with the double-sided tape, sometimes foam tape as well, and you can just see as it comes together how I worked it all out. So I decided on this photo of my 2 boys and their dad, and obviously I'm behind taking a photo, and we are just checking out and going to the beach. We drove down a couple of hours away and decided we'd have a day at the beach, and we're going in to see if it's this is the beach we want to stay at. Place where we go on the south coast from Canberra here there's quite a few little pockets of beaches along the coast that you can go to, but we always end up back at this one. A few times we've gone, yep, let's go have a look at a few other beaches, but we always come back to this one. We love the surf and whatnot, which means there's enough waves there. We don't surf, but the waves are nice to play in and jump around and body surf and have fun with. So I'm just fiddling around with positioning washi on there. There's no really rhyme or reason to it. There's not like a pattern that's this one, then that one, then this one, and then that one again, and that one again, and that one again, or anything. Just having to play with the thickness and the length and all the colours, just trying to make sure there's no 2 the same together. And I'm just using the advantage of having the washi on the cardstock by curling up the edges and giving it some texture. This one, I use my distress tool and rip up the edges on it, and it works so well. It worked better than I actually thought. And then once I finish distressing it with this tool, I then just go crumple it up in my hands and stick it on the layout that way with some fun foam. So it's just coming together. I'm just trying to keep my photo there as a general guide. I decided this one needed to be up on fun foam, and I just put it in the middle so that it's not all contained, stuck to the fun foam and flat to that height. I can crumple the edges and the sides and make it have fun like that. Now that one's just nestled in underneath the previous one that's up on fun foam. I decided that I needed to fix up the one underneath there and have it, and I cut it the wrong way because there's flamingos. I don't want half the flamingos to be upside down. Luckily, I cut a big enough strip that I could fishtail the other end as well and nestle it in there. And you can see it's just quite fun. I have sped this bit up a bit because obviously it's not as fun as doing it, just to watch me put double-sided tape on and stick them down on the page. But it is really fun. So I'm ruffling up this one really. And that was cool. It's just fun. I don't know if you're like me, but I like to touch paper and scrunch it up and have that feel, and the look is just really nice. So it was quite fun to be able to do it with these washies. I really like the colours and the patterns and how they all just went together so nicely. So I'm glad I had this thought to do this. So you can see there, just overlapping that one on the previous rows. It's just a matter of having fun and just working with it. You could totally lay them all out before you went in and glued them if that works for you. But I tend to find that I put them down and then when I glue them, I move them all around. So I've learnt most of the time not to bother with that step. This one here, I'm putting another one over the top of the thicker one, so there's some layers going on. And I decide that's probably enough for now. And I do want to add this sort of like a title. Just going to move some of those papers and work on a title so that I can see the way the rest of the page is going. So I decided I want the washi in the photo up there and a title underneath it. And I look at those, what are they, thickers from Vicky Buden. And then I remember we have these smaller ones. So I'm going to use the pink and the black, I believe. Pinky purple, I guess they're kind of. And then these gold thickers as well. And I spell out the title, Living Our Best Life. And obviously don't let you watch that because it's boring even for me. So I put them on really badly, but we're just getting the idea. I do move them in a little while. I'm going to put the photo mat behind my photo and have some layers. I've got some of the pink again and then some of this bluey green pattern. And that's going to go there. And then I've got that floral or that leaf wreath, well that's a mouthful, circle there that's going to go in that corner and start a cluster. So I do want to add this black and I wonder whether I want a full mat or just a side mat, and then I decide on a full mat. And this just makes that photo pop off the washi and stand out in its own right, just like it does in the border that I've got with the pattern paper in the background and the black cardstock. So I found the tag when I was looking over at my embellishments, and I'm just going to rip that so I don't have so much bulk and put that down there. I'm going to work out to put this blue tag as well, which is a bit small, and then a white tag that I've got just cut and sitting on my desk. That one is going to nestle there. And see, that looks really nice like that. And then when I go to glue them down, I mess them all up and I have to cut down the white tag, and it's just a bit of a background pop, like not even a pop, it's just a bit of background interest that ends up there. This washi's going to start the little tiny end of the cluster down here, and I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to move my thickers now so that they're based on top of that strip of washi. So here we are back, and I'm going to fill in the rest between that top washi and the title so that it is just like one big flowing cluster from the top to the bottom. So working with some of this washi, I hadn't put any of this one on there yet, so it was nice to be able to get it on now. Having to play with not chopping the words in half. Another one of this nice black and white floral, and again with this squishing and the squashing. I think I might have to do another one and just squish and squash every single one and see what happens. Actually, it'd be pretty nice to do an art journal that way. I have done ages. I don't think I did it in a video. Ages ago, I scrunched up all this washi and stuck it on my page and with loops and squishes and squashes, and it wasn't flat, and then I painted over top of it, and it was just such a good textured background. If anyone's interested, let me know. I'll scrap lift that idea from myself, although I've probably got it from someone else. And just having a play with finishing the washi so that it comes together, and you can see it looks so nice once I fill in this gap here between the title and the top washi cluster. It it just completes the design. It's like it was meant to be that way entirely. So adding on, and it's fun to play with some of the washi that's thinner and thicker. Adding some more washi down here so that it's not just a lonesome little washi strip. Add this one, and then I'm going to, on Fun Foam, I'm going to add this green one, but then I end up taking it off and adding some rose gold. And that looks much better. Now I know the thickers are gold and some of the washi is rose gold, but I don't mind. It looks really nice together and it's not a concern to me at all. But it is for you, then definitely choose something else rather than those thickers. Colour them in, maybe use a paint pen. So I'm going to add some of this rose gold up here. I end up using, this is the last piece that I had on the cardstock. I just love this so much. So it's just this little bit left. Maybe I must put it somewhere, or I must just lose it because I needed some a bit later and I couldn't find any. So I'm going to put some twine in these tags, and I end up putting in the pink one and the blue one and cutting down the white one like I said earlier. But that's okay because that's obviously the way it ends up. Just some pink embroidery floss there. So I do tie them in two different ways just for a bit of interest. That's just something different so that they're not exactly the same. And you can see that it works really nicely with that floral wreath underneath, or that leaf wreath. Pull in this flare, have a try and see if I wanted that flare, but that's not the case at all. I'm going to put that one there and add a flower die cut. No, a heart die cut. It's funny, heart, star, flower, I always end up, most videos, mixing them up and saying the opposite of what I actually want to say. So I'm going to add some washi here as a base to that cluster. That's what I was saying. I must have lost that strip. I must have thought it was rubbish and threw it in, which is a bit of a shame. So pulling out some of these sprinkly items, I found these little wooden button brad thingies, and that's going to make a cluster down here. I did have a flower there, but I decided it can come up to where the first flower and the heart is. And I just had to move some of that double-sided tape so that it could sit nestled onto that washi that's already up on Fun Foam down in that bottom cluster. So I'm going to glue these together, and I found this little resin star that we had in the kit also, which is like a glittery bluey teal, and it looked really nice there. So I fought with it, but I got it on the page. Now I'm committing to putting my photo down using Fun Foam underneath so that it is flat with those washi strips that are up on Fun Foam. Goodness, that was a mouthful. Adding a couple of just more strips of washi just to round it off, and adding some enamel dots to finish it. So I do then glue the background to the other border. I don't know why I didn't do it earlier. I think maybe I'd forgotten or whatnot, but I got there in the end. Just going around and outlining my heart just so that it pops a bit more off the page. And that's my layout. So here's a close-up, and I hope you've enjoyed this process for the April Kitaholic kits. I will see you next video. Bye guys.